that's the safest solo I've heard you play. But go for it. I just don't want you to play notes just to play the notes. I want you to be musical about it. But I don't want you to be so safe that the music stops happening. Perfect. You have a stern face, and then you go in the back and you pray that they get it.
Growing up, I really, really enjoyed this documentary. The journey that it took me on. The music was definitely its own character in this, and that was prevalent throughout. Obviously, the whole piece about music, but also so much more than that. What really made it unique was the conversations happening between these two young musicians, coming from the same community, coming from the same hard times, showcasing how music changed their lives. Seeing their friendship emerge and change over the decade, just kind of the camera catching them, just talking and giving each other advice, I thought was really beautiful to see. The inspiration of this teacher and how he pours into these young students who remind him of himself, also getting into the idea of his past and seeing him with his mother and, the pain that he harbors from that. It was such an inspiration. I really love how we got to see the musicians grow up. This is my best, like the best part of it is seeing how it progressed over time. So seeing how when you put something into a community, seeing how it grows into something else. And when you put something into a person, what it can manifest. So you see them turn into teachers, into husbands. It's such a beautiful piece. Lots of quick cuts with lots of motivational sound bites and seeing basically this teacher in action, them in action, interchanged with music. The editing really also makes it really, really interesting. And it was a really great documentary, one of the best I've seen in a while.
Growing up, this was an incredible doc. I thought that there was just brilliant passion brimming throughout with music and this aim of greatness, creating purpose and pushing people further than maybe they would have gone. And this idea of role models and those teachers, those people in our lives who give their all to something, and how they just hope that they're going to create that spark. And that spark is carried into these flames that these students stoke through their effort and throughout their life. And wow, what an incredible example of somebody who, puts their everything into their work. I thought very fresh approach to the filming and the very intimate angles. There's something that felt a little raw about it. You could tell the subjects felt very open and honest, and it was a very safe space to share and authentically communicate. So I loved this piece. My sister is a music teacher, and I'm going to be sending this to her.
I like growing up. Um, I thought it was a good message. My dad kind of had a similar story as far as like growing up in not the best financial or home life situation, and um played the trumpet and got a scholarship, and that's how he was able to come up, and had me. So I'm familiar with the idea that music, especially for the youth, can like save you, from some bad situations. And I think this what I liked about this documentary is that it highlighted that in specific cases and like connected those dots in a really satisfying way. Um, Also, I like the music, yo. The sound design in general. If you don't hear a music documentary, the score gotta be hitting, gotta be hitting, and it was hitting, yo. And Jazz is not even my favorite style of music. I like it, but it's not my favorite. And even then, even with that, I was still rocking. So great job.
Growing up. Okay, this was a fascinating documentary about the life and efforts of Fernando Pullum. I have a lot to say about this piece because it was very interesting in two different ways. First of all, the subject is fascinating to learn about the history of this man and the struggles he went through all of his life and how he didn't let himself go down because of life, but instead he found a way to move on and to help other people who was in a vulnerable place. It's amazing. It's great that the filmmaker decided to do a documentary about this subject. It is great that we have some evidence of the works of this amazing man, and I really hope that more people gets to watch this film because it's fascinating, really. And I don't say it only because of the subject, which is incredibly compelling, but also because of the way the film is made. Because the documentary feels very much like jazz itself. It's wild. There's no clear structure. It jumps from one thing to the next, from one conversation to the next, combining music, combining interviews, combining a lot of crazy things that gives it an incredible energy. It's a very powerful documentary in the editing aspect, and again, I think that the filmmaker was trying to achieve the essence of jazz in a film medium, and that was I found that a fascinating and very interesting idea. It was, I imagine, very difficult to edit, but I think that it was a terrific job at the end of the day. And I read that I did some research on the film and the filmmaker, and I read that the filmmaker spent over 16 years working on this piece, which is amazing too. So I have nothing but respect and admiration towards the filmmaker and what he has done with growing up. So thanks for doing this piece, and I hope you get to find more people to watch it.